A blind little girl stood crying in the middle of the street, clutching her K9 service dog as police surrounded them. Sirens blared, orders were shouted, but when officers moved in, what unfolded next shocked an entire city. This wasn't just confrontation, it was a moment no one would ever forget. A restless crowd had gathered, spilling across sidewalks, their frustration vibrating like static in the heat. In the middle of it all stood a little girl, no more than 7, her small hands clinging to a white cane. She could not see the chaos around her, but she could hear it. Every angry shout, every barked command. By her side pressed a German shepherd, his vest marked clearly, K9 service. The dog's ears flicked back, his body tense as he guided her carefully into the crosswalk. Yet with every step, danger grew closer. Officers shifted nervously, mistaking the shepherd's protective stance for threat. The child's trembling voice rose above the noise, pleading softly, but her cries were lost in the storm swelling around her. The shepherd's low growl rumbled through the tense air, his body shielding the girl from the advancing officers. His stance was firm, protective, his eyes sharp with instinct. To him, the flashing lights and loud commands were danger closing in, and he would not let harm touch his girl. But to the officers, already on edge, the dog's posture looked different. "Control that animal," one shouted, stepping forward, with a baton raised. Another unclipped a taser, his gaze locked on the shepherd. The girl clutched her cane with one hand and her dog's harness with the other, her small voice breaking. "Please, don't hurt him. He's helping me. I can't see without him." Her words were drowned by the chaos. Orders barked, radios crackling, the restless murmur of the crowd. The shepherd barked once, sharp and commanding, forcing the line of officers to hesitate. Yet misunderstanding thickened the air like smoke, pushing them closer to a mistake no one could undo. The girl's tears streaked down her cheeks, but her grip on the harness never loosened. She couldn't see the batons or tasers aimed at her companion, yet she felt the tension, the way her dog's body pressed closer against her leg, trembling but unyielding. His every heartbeat told her the same thing. "I won't leave you." The shepherd's bark rang out again, louder this time, chest heaving as he placed himself squarely between the girl and the officers. His ears flattened, tail rigid, eyes locked onto the advancing figures. He was not attacking. He was defending, every fiber of his being focused on the child he had been trained to protect. The girl sobbed, clutching him desperately. "He's not dangerous. He's my eyes," she cried. But her plea was swallowed by the sirens and shouting. The shepherd lowered his head, muscles coiled like a spring, prepared to endure whatever came. Loyalty bound him to her, stronger than fear, stronger than pain, stronger than the chaos around them. The standoff could not last forever. One officer, nerves stretched too thin, lunged forward with a baton. The shepherd reacted instantly, lunging sideways, not to attack, but to shield the girl. The blow landed against his shoulder with a sickening thud. The child screamed, her voice piercing through the noise like broken glass. She fell to her knees, clutching the dog's fur as his body shuddered from the impact. "Stop! Please, stop!" she wailed, her cane clattering to the pavement beside her. The shepherd whimpered but remained planted in front of her, his body a living shield, his eyes burning with pain and determination. Around them, the crowd gasped. Some raised their phones, recording every second, their voices rising in outrage. "He's protecting her. Can't you see?" someone shouted. The tension that had begun as confusion now crackled like fire. Every eye was on the girl and her dog, and in that moment, the world realized the wrong target had just been struck. The girl's sobs echoed as the shepherd pressed against her, trembling from the blow but refusing to move. The sight was unbearable. Gasps turned into shouts, and the crowd surged closer. Dozens of phones were raised, their cameras catching every second, broadcasting the scene to the world beyond that street. "Stop hitting them. She's blind," a woman cried, her voice breaking with anger. Others joined in, chanting, demanding. The officers back away. The once disorganized crowd now stood united, their outrage spilling into every corner of the intersection. The officers, rattled, exchanged uneasy glances, their rigid confidence beginning to falter. Videos uploaded within seconds went viral, screens lighting up across the city. What began as confusion was now undeniable injustice captured live. The little girl clutched her dog tightly, whispering through tears, "It's okay. I've got you." In truth, it was the dog who had her, and now, it seemed, the entire crowd did too. The shouting from the crowd forced the officers to pause. One man lowered his baton, his eyes finally catching the glint of the white cane lying broken on the pavement. His chest tightened. He looked again, at the girl's vacant gaze, at the way her hands searched blindly for her fallen cane. "She's blind," he muttered, his voice trembling. The words cut through the noise like thunder. For a moment, silence rippled across the scene. The shepherd's labored breathing filled the gap, his body curled protectively around the child who now trembled uncontrollably in his fur. The officers stepped back, their confidence shattered. Batons lowered, tasers switched off. Shame spread across their faces as realization dawned. The dog had never been a threat. He had been doing what they themselves had failed to do: protect her. The crowd roared again, but this time it wasn't just outrage. It was a demand for accountability. The truth was out, undeniable, and nothing would ever erase what had just happened. By nightfall, the footage had spread across every screen. News stations replayed the video on loop. A blind girl clutching her service dog, officers raising batons, the animal taking the blow. Social media exploded with outrage. Hashtags trended worldwide, demanding answers, demanding justice. The city could no longer look away. Commentators debated heatedly, some with tears in their eyes as they described the loyalty of the shepherd who had stood firm despite pain. Others asked how those sworn to protect could mistake protection for aggression. Politicians weighed in, promising investigations. For the first time, the little girl's name and her dog's story became known beyond the city streets. Strangers left flowers outside the police station. Donations poured in to support the girl and her canine. And everywhere people talked, one truth resonated louder than any headline. It wasn't anger that defined this story, but love. The unwavering bond between a child and her dog had forced a city and the world to confront its own humanity. Officers involved in the clash were suspended, an investigation launched, and officials publicly apologized. But for the little girl, none of that mattered as much as the steady presence of her dog. Bandaged from the blow, the shepherd lay beside her hospital bed, his eyes never leaving hers. When reporters asked her what she remembered most, she didn't speak of fear. Instead, she reached for her companion's fur, her voice soft but steady. "He didn't leave me, not even when everyone else did." Her words spread faster than any headline, piercing hearts around the world. That a ceremony was held soon after. The girl stood, cane in one hand, her other resting proudly on the shepherd's back. The crowd applauded, not just for her bravery, but for the loyalty of the dog who never let her face the darkness alone. Their story became more than a viral moment. It became a testament, a reminder that true courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it simply stands firm, even in the face of fear, refusing to let love be broken.